Ship Ahoy by Neil Cook. I've got a little story to tell you, hot throbbers. It's about what happened to me 10 years ago when I was 20 years old. I got back just before I got married. I was 18 years old and in love with a man called Paul, who was a sailor. I first met him when I was taking a holiday weekend in Paris. This is where the story starts. I had booked an holiday to Paris for me and my friend, but the following week my friend phoned me up to tell me that she had to go to hospital for an operation and that she wouldn't be able to go to Paris. This meant I had to go on my own. Anyhow, a month later I was at the airport getting ready to catch the plane to Paris. Then it flashed up in front of me, platform 4. I just about got there in time. I boarded the plane and it took off. While the plane was moving, an air hostess asked me if I would care for any refreshments. I replied yes, I would like a gin and tonic. When she arrived back with my drink, I drank it back in one go because I was very nervous. I hadn't been on a plane before. Then I slowly fell asleep. Then something woke me up. It was the air hostess making an announcement telling us to fasten our seatbelts because we were just about to descend into Paris. After the plane landed, I got off the plane and went and collected my luggage. After I got my luggage, I went and looked for a taxi. Just my luck, a taxi just happened to come straight away. I told him to take me to the Plaza Hotel. It took quite a while to get to the hotel, being it was on the other side of Paris by the Eiffel Tower. When we arrived at the hotel, I paid the taxi his fare. I asked one of the hotel porters to help me carry my luggage into the hotel. I went over to the reception so that I could book in. I told the porters to take my luggage up to room 25. I went up to my room number 5 minutes later, and the porter was just coming out, so I gave him a tip. I unpacked my luggage and changed into some different clothes. After I got changed, I went down to have my tea. After my tea, I decided to go for a quiet walk in the park, which was opposite the hotel. It was a nice day for it. As well, the park was so big with lots of trees. I walked over to the lake and lay down beside it on the grass. There was a cool breeze blowing through my hair, which was a sensational moment. The water was so calm, with quite a few ducks on the lake assembling together to catch some fish, and some ducks pecking at each other. I gradually fell asleep. I was woken up by a someone. I turned around and there was the most best-looking handsome man I'd ever seen. I couldn't help staring into his dazzling eyes. He told me he'd woken me up because he wanted to return my handbag because some tramp had stolen. I asked him however I could repay. He said, by having dinner with me tonight. I said I would love to. What is your name? He replied, Paul. What is yours? I replied, Susan. I asked Paul what time I should meet him. He told me that he would send a taxi to come and pick me up and take me to the restaurant. I told I would see him tonight. I went back to the hotel and had a nice cool shower. While I was in the shower, I thought to myself, what shall I wear tonight? I also thought to myself again, I'm going to hang on to Paul. He's not going to slip away from me. Not like before with my other boyfriend. When I had finished in the shower, I decided to wear my black miniskirt with my black tights along with my suspenders. When I got changed, I put on my makeup and my pearl necklace. When I had finally finished, I went down to the entrance lobby and went outside to wait for the taxi. I waited 5 minutes and the taxi came. I had no idea where the restaurant was or what it looked like. Then we arrived at the restaurant. It was established on the embankments of the most famous river in all of Paris, which was the River Seine, which was not far away from the Eiffel Tower. I went into the restaurant and went to the reception and asked if someone could show me to the table where a man called. Then I saw Paul in the background sitting at the table. I handed my coat to the person in the coat room. Then I went over to the table to the person in the coat room. Then I went over to the table where Paul was sitting. Paul got up and pulled my chair out for me. When we both sat down, Paul said, "You look very ravishing tonight, Susan," which I took as a compliment. I said back to him, "You don't look too bad yourself, I must say." The waiter came over and gave us the menu. We looked at the menu and we decided we would have the prawns and frog legs. Then the waiter came over and asked us if we were ready to order. Paul told him what we wanted to order. The waiter asked us if we cared anything to drink. Paul told the waiter that we would like a bottle of champagne on ice. While we were waiting for the food arrive, we ordered 2 cups of coffee. When the coffees arrived, we started to talk to each other. I asked Paul what he did for a living. He replied that he was a sailor and that he was in Paris for another couple of months or so. I told him what I did for a living. After a couple of minutes we started to talk to each other as if we knew each other for ages. Then the waiter arrived with our food. The food smelt quite nice. When the waiter left, we started to eat our food. I said to Paul, "The food isn't bad here, is it?" After our meal, Paul suggested if I would like to go dancing. I replied, "Yes, I would love to go dancing," in an eager voice. We left to go dancing. We got in a taxi and